Tanya Kerr with T. Kerr Property Group, and I am excited to introduce you to two people today. Number one is Fiona. This is Fiona Kerr. She is the newest addition of the Kerr family, so very excited to introduce her. And the second one is Marcos Esparza. Marcos Esparza is, if you can't tell, just sunshine in a human body. You are. And also he is here to talk to us about insurance. So you run your own office for farmers. So go ahead and tell them a little bit about
what
you do.
I've owned insurance agency for the last 20 years as Farmers Insurance and Financial Services. We're very few, there's very few agents that actually have a securities license to do investments. And we do the insurance as well. So we love to do protecting people's assets and helping build people's assets.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about, we'll come back to the financial piece, but for right now, we're going to talk about insurance. So for example, my clients, sometimes I have first-time home buyers, sometimes I have people who have been, they're very experienced in real estate and they've bought and sold many homes, but they want to talk about their insurance policy and make sure that they're buying the right thing. So what advice do you give to people? Let's talk first-time home buyers first. What advice would you give to a first-time home buyer that's buying their first homeowner's insurance policy?
Well, there's always three things that we talk about that are important to clients. It's price. Price is always a consideration, a factor. Coverage and service. So that's the trifecta. Not all insurance companies are good at all of them. Usually they're good at one. That means they're also compromising on the other two. So if the price is really good, their coverage or service might be really bad. Or if the coverage is really, really good, that might mean that the price is up. So we are biased, but we feel like Farmers is really good at all three. We're competitive, our coverage is phenomenal and top notch. And then of course there's the service, which includes me as the agent and our claim service as well. And so all of that combined is what we're looking for. So a first-time home buyer can be overwhelmed because they're looking at maybe the bottom line. They're also not sure how everything works. And so we want to be able to take care of them and help them hold their hand through that process, understand what it's like, and then be able to educate them, not sell, just educate. At the end of the day, we want them to feel better even if they don't buy from us.
This is exactly, so when I always tell my clients, I align myself with people who are like-minded. That's really important to me because I am big into education about real estate. I want people to be educated about what they're doing so that they feel empowered. And you are the same way with insurance, because even if they don't go with us, that's a-okay, as long as we feel like we did right and can sleep well knowing that we did right by somebody.
Because it comes back in return, right? Like they may be able to talk, they may not purchase from you directly, but they're talking to friends and family that will then come back. So whatever we give out that's good, it's, stop selling, start helping. And it's always a good method, good philosophy.
Okay, so let's talk about the insurance policy. What should somebody think about when they're purchasing one?
So we do have a lot of questions when it's regards to the market price or the sales price, the tax value, the loan amount, and then there's this term called replacement cost value. That's where the insurance for home insurance actually focuses on. It's just the cost to remove all the debris and build a brand new home for the cost of labor, material, and now 2024. Doesn't include land value. And so sometimes there's some confusion there because they're looking at all these different numbers, which are all very important, but we want to be able to educate them that this is what we're going to be looking for on a replacement cost basis to do a true evaluation on what it costs in that zip code for that builder's grade, labor, material, and it changes. So I think you asked me earlier is like,
so I bought my house in 2018. Since then, it has doubled in value. And then I said to you, I go, should I have called you and told you that I need to increase my policy because now my home is worth a lot more? And then I'm thinking, I know what custom builders, because I'm in a neighborhood, so I would have to hire somebody custom. So a custom builder would have to come in and build, and I know what they're charging price per square foot. So what's the answer to that?
You got a good pulse on the price per square foot. There's a lot of people that don't. So we always do annual reviews. We offer them. Not everyone takes us up on it. So yes, you should review your policy at least once a year with the agent, and then go over the cost per square foot in that area and see if you have anything that needs to adjust, especially if you do some major upgrades. The system or the coverage is already going to automatically include some replacement cost adjustments by the zip code, but that doesn't mean that your home is the same as every other home in that zip code, and you might need to make even more adjustments than what we're already doing for your home insurance.
Okay, got it. What is, let's do one more question. What is the thing that people should take into consideration when buying a policy that maybe it's not common knowledge? is there like an addition to a policy that they should consider?
Yeah, there's two things that came to my mind. You know, most people think flood insurance is part of their home insurance. It's excluded by every single home insurance policy that's out there. So if you're in a flood zone, or really you're in a standard flood zone is the technical term, you should probably look at it. Your mortgage company will probably require it.
Right.
And then the other thing that we want to make sure that we communicate very well is that there is something called named peril and all risk. This is technical terms.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, all risk means it's broad coverage. It's coverage that favors the client, where named peril favors the insurance company.
Okay.
So all risk is simple. Everything's covered except for what's specifically excluded by the policy.
Got it.
Named peril has a list of perils like fire, lightning, windstorm, hurricane, hail, riot, civil commotion, aircraft, vandalism, smoke, and the list goes on. And the coverage is more narrower.
Yeah.
And so if the claim is not on the list, there's no coverage. So those are things that most people don't realize. They'll look at the price and be like, oh, that price is less. Well, then your coverage is probably also restricted, where you want to educate. It goes back to educating that client and letting them know what you're buying. And at the end of the day, you get to decide. But we want to make sure you get value, the best bang for your buck, and that you also have a great agent and a great claim service when you need them the most.
Right. Yeah.
And then pay a good competitive price.
When I introduce you to my clients, I always say, my goal with insurance is that I never use it. I really would prefer never to use it.
Sure.
But when something goes south, I want to make sure that the person that I have hired in my insurance company is fighting for me and fighting with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
there was a saying that my mentor told me a long time ago, is that would you rather pay a little bit more to save a whole lot of money if there's a claim, or do you want to save a little bit of money to pay a whole lot when there's a claim? And so we teach those clients, like, these are little things that give you peace of mind. And some clients, it may be worth it to them, or other clients, it may not. But at least let them make that decision. And it also helps us, so that we say we've done our job, we made our due diligence, we actually document if we offer something and they decline, because at the end of the day, it's their choice. But we want to educate and then let them make an educated decision.
You know where insurance comes up a lot is, for example, I have a transaction right now where the roof came back and it needs to be replaced. And so in negotiations, they said, no, it doesn't. Our roofer said it doesn't. And I said, my roofer, so going back and forth in negotiations, you know how it is. And then I was able to say, but hold on, it's uninsurable. And so that is one way in which insurance, if they're not going to insure that roof, that's leverage for me as a negotiator.
Right.
And also, do insurance companies, do they check roofs when you're purchasing? Because
not necessarily. We just ask the age of the roof, and now as of recent, the age of the roof has become more prominent information. We don't necessarily send anyone to go check it. We would also have roofers and vendors that we use to kind of have to help us with that. But generally speaking, we don't check. We just ask for the age of the roof, but it dictates the level of coverage and the premium.
Okay.
So it's becoming more restricted. The older the roof is, between 15, 20 years or plus, they start doing depreciation on the roof.
Yeah.
And so when you're helping a client buy a home, you can pull us in and say, hey, it may not be insurable, or they're not going to get the best coverage unless that roof is replaced, and leverage that.
Right. Yeah. So thank you for being my partner in negotiations.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay, we're going to do another video because there's more to cover here, but for right now, Marcos, if people want to reach you to talk to you about insurance, how can they reach you?
They can call us, email us, text us, find us on social media, Marcos Esparza, and then my number is 512-341-7719. Come by our office. We're in Round Rock. We'd love to give you a hug, cookies and coffee. We're really big on face-to-face, so we'd love to see you soon.
Do you have cookies in the office all the time?
Yes, we do.
That feels right. Okay. Well, thank you for being here.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here.
And I hope this was valuable for you.
Brought to you by T. Kerr Property Group.